Welcome back, everybody, to another Nosebleed section. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Joe Anderson. I am joined by my resident Giants fan. What's going on? Mr. Sacco quarterback this week. I like it.
I'm saying.
Mine is
But you gotta do it the right way. You gotta tackle them real nice and sit them down, pat them on the head, read them a bedtime story, and then hope that you don't get a flag.
it depends on which bedtime story you read.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get the
Anything
right
about
bedtime
anything by Samuel L. Jackson, you get a flag for.
story,
Nah, Jay, that's
you know,
past my bedtime story. That's past my bedtime, I should say.
I was, I'm just saying, like, if you don't get the right bedtime story, then it's right. Oh, I see, Jay. Always cursing us out for no reason. Like, for no reason. I literally just saw that. Dang, man. It's a Giants podcast. Dang. Guy. Go talk to Paul, do a Jets podcast tonight. Like, dang, I'll watch that. Goodness gracious. Anyway, it's not Victory Monday because the Giants were on a bye. But, I mean, seeing how some of these Jets games, okay, he has plenty of reason. Stop yelling at me. Gosh. But seeing as how crazy NFL Sunday went yesterday, including Jay's Jets beating the Bills and hurting Josh Allen in the process, which sucks for a lot of you Bills fans and
It
fantasy
sucks for my
owners.
fantasy team.
They're about to say. The Giants were more than happy to take a step back this week.
Hell, we needed one.
I was just, oh my gosh, ridiculous. I mean, I gotta look into the other people that we have that are out still, like Evan Neal and a couple other people. I know the big two are Neal and Belly. I believe Leonard Williams will finally come back to practice, but injury wise, just that got me. That got me. The whole injury thing kind of got me thinking about our people. But
I can't deal with this dude. That's
yo,
toxic.
this dude is
Stop it,
crazy,
man.
crazy, sir. We're going to talk about the trade deadline, all right? Talk about the trade deadline. My gosh. So the trade deadline came and went, and the Giants didn't really make any moves. I saw after the fact we claimed that what was it Isaiah Hodgins, a receiver from the Bills, 6'4" build, uh, two and change kind of guy. He doesn't have too many career receptions. I think he only has like two or three career receptions, if I remember correctly from what I read. Um, Me personally, I not really mad at the fact of that we did make any moves. I know we traded Tony for a third and a sixth. I'm more than happy with that. The return we got on a guy who couldn't get on the field. And I mean, now you look back and he played last night. He had like one reception, I believe, but clearly his double hamstring injury wasn't real, or at one point, I guess it was. And he's been fine for weeks. Who knows? Don't care. Not on the Giants anymore. Not our issue. Hope you prosper on the Chiefs. Go do what you gotta do. We're moving on with what we got. But yeah, I wasn't mad that we didn't really make any moves to trade deadline, but I know we talked about it, and you had a couple of issues with what we did. So, what did you want us to do, or what did you feel like we should have did, or whatever else?
Well, let me put it to you like this. Since then, my stance has softened a bit. More so I don't know if you can say it's just me coming to the realization or accepting the fact that we didn't make a move, more so than me
Mm,
just like actually coming to an agreement with it. I don't know what it is, but what I wanted us to do is to actually go out there and make a move to so that we can make our offense a lot less one dimensional because you know how the saying goes, shit rolls downhill. All right. Things start to happen. Like once you get going on into the season, the Seahawks basically they took what we gave them or took what we were presenting throughout the first 8 games of the season, and it was just like, all
mm,
right, well, we know what you're going to do. We're not going to allow you to do it, and because of the fact that you don't have your hell, let's just call him that, your number one receiving option in Daniel Bellinger, you know, we can stack the box against Saquon. We can sit up here, key in on him because we know that no one else on this team is a threat to us. So going forward, I'm looking at it like, all right, we need to like the evaluation process in my mind isn't over. Like if you ask me right now, like, all right, as far as Daniel Jones goes, are you signing him to an extension? At the moment, I'm gonna say yeah, but I'm not gonna be saying yeah for like a 4 or 5 year extension for $300 million. No,
No,
I'm
not at
gonna
all.
say give him 2, if not 3 years at the absolute most. And we said we'd take it from there specifically for 2 reasons. One, because it seems like he fits rather well into the offense. And then the second reason is because at the moment, what are we picking in the draft right now? At like 19? Where are we finding a quarterback right there?
1920s
Yeah.
around there.
We're sitting at 6-2. The last I checked, we were, I think, the 6th seed in the conference, and that's because of the fact that they give the first 4 seeds to your division winners because we have better records than some of them right now. But I'm looking at it like, all right, give me a Jerry Jeudy if he's available. All right. I'm looking at it like this because the one of the things that I honestly hate when people bring up the trade deadline is I don't want to mortgage our future. All right. Number one, if you sign the player to an extension, you're not mortgaging anything. All right. Number two, if you're gonna go out there and say we draft a wide receiver in the second round or in the first round or something like that, okay, what were you hanging on to the pick for? Because in that case, in this case, you're getting like the receiver, what, 6, 7 months earlier? He already has NFL experience and all kinds of stuff. So that's where I'm looking at it right now. All right. I'd be lucky for us to be picking in the late 20s, Jay. Dead ass. It's just, it ain't happening. But I was looking at it from that standpoint. But like I said, after a sit and pack, as a stand pack, and from what I'm hearing later on down the line that they were looking for, because I had heard second and fifth. I was starting to hear afterwards it was like second and fourth, more so than anything else. And like at that point, I'm like, okay, now we're starting to get a little excessive when it comes to the compensation and things like that. So I could understand somebody looking at it and being like, oh, well, you're nitpicking, talking about a fourth versus a fifth rounder. Good God, are you serious? Yeah, well, that I don't know. That may not be taking the actual playoff seeding into effect. But he said we'd be picking at 28 right now. So, like I was saying, what quarterback are you getting at that point?
I mean,
and don't give me Aaron Rodgers. Don't give me no Tom Brady in the 6th round. None of them were like Aaron Rodgers should not have been there at that late. And Brady was
no,
just,
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say either of them. But I mean, like me and Jay were talking about it earlier today. Like, if you're talking about the quarterbacks that will be available, then it all depends on who's drafting where. Like, yeah, we know Stroud and Bryce are gonna both go probably top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it's like you got Richardson, you got Levis, and it really depends on who's there. I don't like pick 28 for us. It's not realistic for any of them to be honest.
No.
I don't think at least at this point of the season, I honestly wouldn't even want to take one of those 2 at 28 if I'm going to be completely honest with you. After those 4, it's a big drop because I mean after that you got like Jerkovic from Boston College, you got Van Dyke from Miami, and I don't like. I'm not gonna really.
Is Hooker coming out? Because I keep hearing his name get thrown around.
He's got to be coming out. I believe Hooker's like a 5th-year senior, so I believe he's got to be coming out.
The other one that I'm worried about, and because the first thing that I saw when I woke up this morning and I went on YouTube or whatever, the first time I went on there was that the Giant scouts were at Florida State's game the other day. No. Jared Verse, okay. Jordan Travis, hell no.
Looking at Jordan Travis? No, there's got to be someone else we're looking at. They got to look at someone else.
That's what I was sitting up there saying. I'm like, I don't know who they were there to scout because they're probably out there scouting everybody, but I know we were there.
Well, the funny thing. Well, I mean, the funny thing about that is, and a lot of people have been saying at this point, I don't think it's going to happen because we're probably going to outplay it. But everybody was saying that we should just keep rock with Daniel for this year or two and come back the following year and get Caleb Williams. But I don't think we're going to be in that position in a year.
Unless we make some trades, absolutely not. To which, honestly, like if we sit here and say we end up, I don't know, finishing the season where are we 6-2 right now. Let's go modest. Let's go modest. We say we'll say we're finished the season 11-6. All right, just to be on the modest side, we finished the last half of the season at 5-4. All right, what are we sitting at again? 19, 20 in the draft or something like that, and then after that, it would depend on what we do in the playoffs. All right, let's just say for argument's sake, we end up at 20 or 21. All right, if we were to trade back and then pick up somebody's, I don't know, first round next year or something like that, package some type of a deal so we end up with 2 firsts in the following year in the 2024 draft, then I can see it. All right. But at this point, I'm just like, when it comes to us, so we got to go out there and we got to fix whatever is directly in front of us. And right now, quarterback isn't directly in front of us. He kind of sort of is. I don't want to solidify it just yet. Maybe it just depends on, like, maybe like I said, maybe it's just Giants trauma with me.
But Daniel Jones is. I'm not going to say he's solidifying himself as a franchise quarterback for us, but he's solidifying that he has
He's solidifying
potential
another
to be.
contract is what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly like he's certifying like, yo, don't give up on me yet. Like I can, if I have consistency and good coaching and I have some type of support around me, then I can make it work. Like I'm not saying he's gonna go out and be the next Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, no. But like if this guy can be a top 12 to 15 quarterback and you can surround him with a great defense and good weapons,
Yeah.
then you have something. Like and I think that's the biggest thing. Like I think I have us going, like you said, around 10-7, 11-6 the rest of the season, I believe it is, and 17 games now. That's where I have us around right now in the season, 11-6, 10-7. I'll be happy with that. That'll get us, I think you said, around pick 19, 20, 21. And I'm more so about building the rest of the team around him. If we're going to sign him to a 2-year extension, which I think is going to happen, 2 years, I don't know what the number is. I don't even want to throw a number out there. But if he gets a solid 2-year extension of a deal, he comes in and he shows that like we put more pieces around him and he shows he can be a leader to that team, then by all means, give him a long-term deal. Like if he shows that year or two, that other 2 years that you sign him on and bring him back, like you can build around this guy, he's a potential franchise guy, then I'm more than fine with it. I didn't want to make any real trades during the trade deadline. Now I look at it, we have, I think we're scheduled 10 comp picks. No, not 10 comp picks. 10 picks in general, the entire draft
11.
now. Is it 11 now?
Yeah. We're getting
like
2 compensatory picks. We got 9 right now.
That to me is huge. Like that's a big roster makeup, and I'm not expecting. I don't want to. Like I said before in our last mock draft that we talked about, not mock draft, our last podcast we talked about with Shane. Like I want to see what Shane and Dable and their actual regime can do in the draft. So I'm not really. I don't want to get rid of any. I don't want to get rid of any pieces. I want to trade the. I want to. If anything, I'd be okay trading back in the draft and getting more capital. If you can get people like Galladay and get his contract off the books, I think they're gonna. I think that I was reading before last week. They're gonna have to restructure. I think it was Cat or somebody.
That's probably going to restructure.
They're gonna have to restructure him too. Like if you can just build up more money with this team, get more capital, and Shane is sticking to his philosophy, which I appreciate, where we are building the team. The core of the team is built through the draft, and we're complementing it with some signings and maybe a trade or two here if we have to. That's what I like. That's
real quick. Let me put something in real quick. Hey Jay, I would give him 3 years at 66. I'm not doing 2.
No, 2 years, 66 is way too much.
The hell no.
No.
I'll give him 3 years, 66. That's $22 million a year. He can take that.
I was gonna say he gets 2 years, 36. That's what I was gonna offer
I
him.
don't think he'd sign for that. I think that the market itself would probably set itself too high for that. I was gonna say something around 2 years, 52. That's $26 million a year.
Jesus.
That's more than Eli ever made for the team.
I just don't want to give him that. Like,
I don't want to give him that either. I'm just looking at it like realistically. Like that's kind of sort of how the market is. If we were to go out there and franchise him, I think the franchise tag is like $32 million.
yeah, we ain't franchised him. Forget that.
Nah,
That's not gonna happen. There's no way we franchise him. Like I said, I was happy that the Giants stayed pat. They got rid of Tony. They got 2 extra picks, and I know I understand it's a compensatory third round pick, so it's more so like a fourth rounder. But if we can hit in the draft, like I think we did last year, as far as getting a lot of these pieces, like yeah, you have your like a Zudu and you had your McKeithen, but then like the rest of our draft last year to me like was amazing. So if you sit up here and you have a Thibodeau, you had a Neal, Bellinger, Belton, like you pull in all these other pieces of Wandale. Like if you go back with another 11 pieces or whatever else you're gonna have to do, or if you trade up, you get rid of one or two of those picks, and you have 10 or 9 or something like that. You continue to add to the core of the team. I think it's only gonna help. Like I don't. That's what I'm just more so like I love building through the draft. I love the philosophy of that. I don't like trading away assets. Like we were talking about the whole Judy thing, and we said Judy's 23 years old. He was like what 2 more years left in his contract. And I got all that. It didn't sound bad, but like we start like you said saying like all right, maybe a second and a fourth, and maybe this and then what also started scaring me was just like the whole like Chase Claypool like the Bears got robbed. Like I don't know, yeah, the Bears got robbed of that deal.
now
Like
like I said,
you
let me butt in
like
on that real quick.
you
The
can't
Bears the
seriously
Bears
sit
are
up
the
here.
same team that traded up from 3 to 2 to get Mitchell Trubisky. I am not using them as a baseline for any argument.
I'm just saying though, like you can't. I'm just saying, I guess it was. And the bad part is, it was a different regime and still just stupidity. Like now, I hope Chase Claypool comes out and balls his ass off this year and turns out some 1,000 yard season. But I doubt it's gonna. I seriously doubt it's gonna happen. Like so, you give up a second round pick for Chase Claypool. I remember we were in talks with the Texans for like Brandon Cooks, and these guys wanted like multiple firsts. I'm like for Brandon Cooks,
Yeah.
like no, no, and that's what really scared me. I'm sitting here like, yo, we were talking about second and a fifth, blah blah, and the Broncos look over and they're like, whoa, like they just got a second for Claypool. Jerry Judy is better than Claypool. What can we now ask for this guy? Like, and that's what scared me. And I was like, the last thing I wanted to see was to sit up here and see, oh, the Giants have traded a first and a third for Jerry Judy. Oh, lost my shit. Like, nah, we're
Yeah, I would
not
have lost
doing
my
that.
shit too. Nah, that's too
Like,
much. Like I said,
yeah,
I'm scoffing at a second and a fourth. I'm not doing a
that's
first for
what I'm
anything.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, people would have sat up here and saw the asking price skyrocket. Like, yo, you got a second? The Steelers had a steal. And like again, like we got a third and a sixth for a receiver who played 2 games. Dude, like I said, I hope that Tony has a great career. I truly do. But at the same time, like you're talking about just at face value, it sucks that we wasted a first round pick on a guy who should have never been drafted to New York anyway.
Mhm.
Like to me, it was a panic move because we wanted Devonta, and Devonta got taken, so we traded back and took Kadarius Toney. Now, yes, did that net us Aziz Ojolari? Yeah, yeah, I love that part. But if you're telling me I could have Aziz who's sitting on IR currently, or Micah Parsons, and this is not just because of a Penn State bias, but the fact that Micah Parsons is a generational talent that you don't pass on, it's like the Colts passing on Quentin Nelson. Like you're talking about one of the best linebackers in the game at like 23 years old. You don't pass on that. I'm sorry, but you just don't. but we're the Giants, and we passed on Josh Allen for Daniel Jones. So I mean, like it just makes sense at this point. It's unfortunate that we do stupid shit like that. Shouldn't have wasted a first round pick on him in the first place. But again, two net, a third and a sixth for this guy, and now you turn around and we have a first, a second, and two thirds now, pretty much. That can build along with bringing back Love and McKinney and hopefully Saquon and hopefully Daniel Jones and hopefully Dexter Lawrence. Those you bring back that young core when nobody's over like 25 years old, 26 years old, along with adding 10 rookies to that, like yo, and we're in 1 year with no receiving core, we're 6-2. Are you kidding me? I'm not touching my capital. I'm gonna add to it. If anything, like I'm just that's just me personally.
Yeah,
There's
we could
no
have
way I
taken
would
a
touch
whole
my
lot of
draft
people
cap.
over Tony.
Huh?
No, I was responding to Jay. I said we could have taken a whole lot of people over Tony.
Oh, oh my gosh.
The
I'm
funny
not
thing
gonna get
about it
started.
is, like, if we did make that trade back, because the trade back, what it actually netted us was Thibodeau. But if you don't
Yeah.
trade back and you sit there and you actually take Michael Parsons, Thibodeau doesn't even come into question there. The fifth pick that we had was our pick. It wasn't Chicago's. Chicago's pick was the seventh.
Mm-hmm.
So what would have happened right there is we would have taken Evan Neal at 5 instead of taking him at 7. So like I said, that hindsight is 2020, and like honestly, it's Gettleman shit. So what's done with him, what's done is done. I can't sit up here and like keep beating the man over the head, just like I couldn't sit up here and keep beating Jerry Reese over the head because it's the same shit. Like
I can, but I'm not gonna. Not at this point.
I mean,
I could be beat.
I only beat Jerry Reese over the head because he took a Super Bowl team and turned it into shit. But it's just,
I only beat him over the head for that. Thanks,
yeah,
Jerry. Jesus. Oh, I don't know. It's like I said, I'm okay. I was okay staying pat at with the trade deadline. But I mean now with the news that came out today that we saw freaking Xavier McKinney
ugh.
being I just being young and dumb. Just being young and dumb. And that's all I can really say to him. I really don't know what else to say to him besides just being young and dumb. Like, for you guys that don't know, Xavier McKinney, I'm pretty sure everybody, all the Giants fan know by now, but Xavier McKinney hurt his hand in an ATV incident when he was vacationing in Cabo, and unfortunately he will miss the next 4 weeks. So, gonna be interesting to see how we rebuild from that. Like just the next man up, I guess.
Motherfucker.
You got. Yeah, I know. It's just like that's the worst time. Like, why would you? It's like the worst time to do this, Xavier. Like, oh, like my man, you were sitting here. We're 6-2. We're coming up the bye. We're trying to get everybody healthy to go back to look at to finish the schedule off strong. We're gonna get into the next 5 games coming up after in a minute, but like you just there's games that we don't win with McKinney on the field. Like there's games that we've won in the past and this season because he's been on the field, and just to take a dynamic player like him off the field when he was legit one of the best players on the entire team, like probably the best player on the defense. And I'd have to say right now, like he's doing better than Dory. Thibodeau's still finding his own because he's staying on the field. Cat's still, banged up. So I would probably say McKinney is the best player on the defense. He's one of the best players on the entire team. And for you to, I'm not trying to like take it out on him, but like, dude, like understand, like be more aware. Like, just gotta be more aware, be more careful. Like, we're 6-2, we're trending in a good direction. We have 5 games coming up that are. I'd say we could at least go 3-2 or 4-1 out of them. Like, and now you being off the field is a big loss. So I mean, they're going to have Tony Jefferson and Landon Collins and Dane Belton are going to have to step up. But what are you thinking on it?
You know, what made the situation even worse because you told me about it this morning, and I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" And the next thing that I saw, because of course, I'm just sitting up here scrolling everything, trying to figure out what's going on. The next thing I see right on Reddit in the New York Giants subreddit is Jihad bored on a damn ATV. I'm like, you some bitches. Like I know maybe the picture was taken before McKinney got hurt, but come on. I'm not gonna tell anybody how to have fun, but just be smart. Like you don't know like what situations can occur from stuff happening like this. Hell, like I sit up here and I like very horribly brag on JPP about the situation with it, with the fireworks and everything. But that was like a community event that he was doing. Like you just got to be smart. You got to understand what your investment is, and that your investment is you. So I don't know, man. It just is what it is. I was not happy with the situation, but like I said, people just being young and dumb, things happen all the time. So, like I said, it is what it is. Hopefully, it's not something that's going to linger and like really cause him any be like a detriment to him in his career going forward. But
Yeah,
like I said, it is what it is.
like it just like I said, I feel like it just couldn't be at a worse time. Like we just fell short against the Seahawks in Seattle. I'm I'm not gonna bring up Ricky James. Not gonna
Nope,
leave him alone. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it just
that's
was
how I
like it's
feel
just
right
bad.
now.
I know Ricky James killed us in that game, but it's just bad timing on McKinney's part. Like again, like you said, young and dumb, but you gotta be more careful, and you just have to understand. Like, okay, my team after coming, and the thing is, you came out and you were vocal about it, I think it was a year or two ago, saying like you're not used to the whole like not winning aspect of things. We played at Bama, you won your championships, everything. You come here the first year or two is a struggle. Like we're not winning a lot of games. You could show you're getting a little visibly upset on the sideline. And understandably so. So is the whole Giants fan base. We all were visibly upset. You know what I'm saying? Like so now we're 6-2. Like we're winning games. Defense is playing well. We had one or two down games, but we still managed to pull them out. Unfortunately, we lost in Seattle. We're going into the bye week. We're trying to get people back and healthy. Like hopefully Evan Neal's maybe out one more game. Maybe he comes back a little sooner if that knee's good to go. We're trying to get healthy. And you get up to the period and you got hurt on a trip on a bye week. Like, and that's just like it's just like rough salt in the wound. It's like, yo, like you have to understand the situation, understand who you are, how important you are to this team, and understand what the like. I understand it's next man up. I get it, it's next man up, but there's a very big drop off from next man up from McKinney to whoever else was going to fill that void. Like I don't know who's going to even play there right now. I think Justin Pinnock is still hurt. He might be back. I'm not even sure. And then you have Landon, and you have Tony Jefferson, if one of them gets called up, and then you have Dane Belton, who has been good when on the field, but hasn't been on the field every game. Now Belton can be a center fielder, but Dave Belton is not Xavier McKinney. We'd love to see him develop into that, but it's tough. So I mean, like you said, and it's just like to me, it's just at the wrong time because I mean, you look at the next five opponents we have. We have the Texans, we have the Lions, the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Eagles. The next five games. Like I said, I think that we can potentially win. Being honest here, I'm saying we can go 3-2 here. The Cowboys game will be interesting. I think we could beat the Texans, we can beat the Lions, we can beat the Commanders. It's the Cowboys game and the Eagles game that everybody's gonna stare at on the schedule. Now we're going into the Texans game as favorites, which I hate. Don't make us favorites now. We just lost to Seattle. Don't make it serious against the Texans. That's annoying. But anyway, I think we can beat the Texans. I have they have a decent run game, but I think if we can get after Davis Mills, I think we should be able to beat the Texans. The Lions just pulled off a huge win against the Packers, but I really don't see the Packers being Packers to me aren't that good this year, and they just lost Romeo Dobbs, which is one of their better receivers that was actually doing something for them. Again, everybody has the Cowboys game circled because we had a chance to win the first time around, so we have a chance to win this time. The Commanders just lost to the Vikings, who are 7-1. The Vikings didn't look like they were superhuman or anything, but
Yeah, it was quite
the
beatable.
Commanders
As a
always
matter
just
of
have
fact,
that front seven, huh?
so they looked quite beatable. As a matter of fact,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's Kirk Cousins. Like, I'm sorry, like he's a decent quarterback, but it's Kirk Cousins. Like, you have to make you have to just cut. It's tough, but it's crazy what I want to say, but you have to try to take away Justin Jefferson. You have to try to take that away. And I mean, they traded for T.J. Hawkinson, which is the biggest thing. They traded for Hawkinson, which gives them a tight end threat now that Irv Smith is down. But you gotta make him one dimensional somehow, some way. You gotta try to take away from. You got. I can't say stack the box because you have to take away from him, which means you gotta slow down Dalvin at some point. But our D line hasn't been the greatest on against run defense lately. So, and in the Eagles game, the Eagles, I don't know if they're going to be undefeated at that point, but that's going to be interesting too. I just, to me, that's why I'm just sitting here and I'm sitting here the whole day at work, like, yo, this injury could not have happened at a worse time. Like, at a worse time. Just coming off a loss, just coming off a bye. We need to try to get people back and healthy and back in the groove of things. And you went and messed your hand up. I don't know the extent of it. I don't know if it's broken. I don't know what happened. I didn't see a picture of it,
as far as I
but
know, he's hurt. That's all I heard.
he's all I know is he's out the next 4 weeks. I believe it's four or five.
Yo, because he got put on the non-football injury list or whatever. I don't know how long you got to be out on that. If it's the exact same as the pup list, not the pup, the in-season IR. I don't know.
I believe he's IR though.
Yeah, it's non-football list. You can't put him on IR.
Mm. I read something earlier. I forgot who it was. Somebody said that he went to IR or something like that, but he was going to miss the next four. I don't know. What do you think of the next stretch of games though?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think
Uh,
of the next stretch of games?
honestly, pretty much the same as you just said. Um, game against Houston coming back. Well, all right, now let me put it to you like this: historically, coming off a bye, the Giants have been pure ass. Right? Cannot stand us coming off a bye, and this is going back years upon years. I mean, going back to Fossil, going to Coughlin, going to McAdoo, going to whatever his name was, Shermer, and don't get me started on Joe Judge. All right, but the Giants have been historically bad coming off of bye weeks. I don't know what it is about it. They just come back and they come back flat. I would like to see, because of the fact that Brian Dable has shown a capacity to keep this team motivated, regardless of what the situation is. I would like to see us come out there and come out and fight strong in this next game. Now, granted, it's Houston. Your detractors will come out there and be like, "Ah, well, you're just beating up on the Texans, right?" But like I said, historically, we have been absolute shit coming out of bye weeks. So, like I said, what I want to see us do is to come out there and legitimately just kick somebody in the face, right, and just keep it moving throughout the next week as well. The tough one, and I mean the absolute tough one, because of the fact that this game had to fall on fucking Thanksgiving, is that Cowboys game, right? You're talking about a team. And granted, you got some veteran parts and things on the team, but for the most part, you have a really, really young team going out there into one of the biggest, like probably as far as televised, your biggest regular season game, period, in the NFL that they put on is that Thanksgiving game in Dallas. That is their game every single year. So you're talking about a high pressure situation. You're talking about guys coming out there. You're gonna have to keep them from pressing, having to make sure that the moment isn't too big for them. Like I said, and I think Dable has that. It's just a matter of like after that, can we match up with the talent? And with guys being hurt the way that they are, hopefully we have people back at that time. Like I said, I got that game circled for one person and one person only, and that's my pick in the NFL draft this year, Evan Neal,
Neil.
because he got absolutely tortured in the first Dallas game. I
Yeah,
would very much
yeah,
like to see him come out there and redeem himself. So, like I said, these next couple of games are going to be absolutely rough. They're going to be telling for how the rest of the season is going to go. Um, I see Jay up there said something about 4-1 going through their next five. Uh, the hell, I'd be happy with that 4-1 if we got it. I'd be absolutely ecstatic. But I'm looking for more so like 3-2 going through there. As long as we don't come through under 500 in the next five games, I actually be pretty happy with it.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I think we should beat the Texans. I would love to, like you said, come out and kick the shit out of them. I
Mm-hmm.
would love nothing more than that. I'd love to do that. Come out after the bye week, pissed off that we lost to a winnable game in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Go, I don't know if we're home or away. I really don't care. Wherever the hell we are, go.
Houston,
Yeah,
next two
we're in
games are home.
Houston. We're home.
Nah, next two games are
Oh,
home.
oh, good. Let's kick the shit out of them at home. That's what I really
Mm-hmm.
want to do. That would be great. And I state we win, get back on the winning track, 7-2, and keep the ball rolling from there. That would be great. I would definitely like to see that. I mean, and I think we match up more than fine with the Texans. Like you said, I think the biggest game is going to be that Dallas game.
Mm-hmm.
That's that to me. I think that's you're pretty spot on with that. Actually, like I'm not worried about the whole is moment too big for him aspect. Like you said, I was going to say the whole thing. Evan Neal is going to be my biggest thing, and then I want to see Kayvon get after Dak. I want to see
Yes.
Kayvon be a factor, be an impact. Like he's already been making impacts. Like you saw him, he was getting just completely destroyed in the Jags game. They didn't want to give him anything.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I want to see him get after Dak. I want to see. I don't know if Aziz is going to come back. I need Aziz back too. I need to see what these two healthy flying off the edges can do. That's what I really want to see. And then after that, like the Cowboys to me are another team that just looks beatable, you know. And I didn't. And it's crazy coming into the season. We did not think that this game was going to be as big as it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
we didn't think that at all. Like I think we can all, mostly any all Giants fans, I think we can all agree that none of us saw us at 6-2. None of us saw us coming at 6-2 in week 8. None of us saw this coming. So I mean, like I said, I hope McKinney comes back in his 4 weeks. I hope we can keep rolling. Like his squad just said, his squad would love to have you on the show, do some collaboration work. Um, I would love to have a whole bunch of other Giants collaborate on the show, do some work together, guys. But I love to get your opinions on some things, see what we're all thinking. But like you said, hit squad, he thinks will be finally come out of the bye. I think so. I think having the opponent that we do have is going to be is going to help is what's going to help us too. I think it would be tougher if we came out of the bye and faced the Eagles. Then it'd be like, ah, shit.
Yeah.
Like that would be tough. But I think the fact that we're coming out of the bye to the Texans and the Lions, I think I think we should be okay in those two games. We should win those two games, roll into Dallas or wherever. Yeah, we're going to Dallas because we think Dallas played us home first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we go to the Dallas game at 8-2 and see what happens. Like I think the most you can come out, the worst I want to come out of it is what 9-4. That's like the
Yeah.
worst I want to come out of this next 5 game stretch. But
And I know
is
people
it?
are looking at it like, yeah, man, you guys are sitting up here and you're being real greedy with that talk right there, considering what we've been the last couple of years. But listen, you gotta live in the moment, man.
Yeah, Yeah, man. I'm not gonna sit up here at 6-2 and be like, no, 6 wins is fine. Take the rest of the season.
Yep.
Get pick 12, 11. I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? Get the picks win the games you can win. Go
hmm
win. Go win again. Like again, it's not like we're asking us to win out. We're literally saying win. What we got? We're 8 games in. We got 9 games left. We're saying win 5 of the next 9 or four
Yep.
of the next 9. That's all we're saying. Like finish the season 10-6, 11 or 10-7, 11-6. Finish the season around there. See what happens. If you make the playoffs, you make it. If not, you can still sit here and look at Dable as coach of the year. My man
Yep.
came in and everybody had us pegged at 2 wins, three
I'm
wins,
I'm
4 wins.
I'm gonna be real. The only way that Dable should not win Coach of the Year is if the Eagles actually go undefeated. That's
Yeah,
the only way I'm giving it to anybody else other than Dable.
yeah, because there's nobody else that's any more deserving than that guy. There's no if he could pull off 10 wins or 11 wins with this team,
hmm
then he's like you said. Unless the Eagles go 17-0 and go to the playoffs, Dable's got to be a shooter for coach of the year.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. Oh man. All right. Anything else you want to get up? We're getting really efficient with these podcasts. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, man.
Feels good.
I said the only
Feels
thing like I said I want to add to it is the fact that we had a couple of let's say right after the Seattle game, there was some talk about Kenny Galladay or whatever coming back and having like some motivation or whatever these people or the guys were actually reporting and anything like that.
mm-hmm.
I hope to God he does. One thing that I do not mind when it comes to my sports teams, prove me wrong. Because right now, just over the last 2 years, this year and like this year in 2021, you have not given me any reason to believe that you are even remotely worth that damn contract. Galladay, go out there, prove me wrong, please. All right. I would like to see touchdown 19 plenty of times before the end of this year.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I was on Twitter because I'm always on Twitter scouring for news. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fiend, but I was on Twitter and I was reading after the Tony news, after the Tony trade. They were talking to Galladay and everything, and Galladay was talking about just saying like I want to get back out there. Like it's crazy how his tones changed from
Mm-hmm.
week 1, 2, 3 to now. Like that was to me was the biggest shocker for him to be turned around and week 1 or 2 he's just sitting here head to the side like I should just be playing. Like just that's just it. Like that's it. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the coaches is thinking, but I should just be playing. I should be playing more. I'm not getting the ball. It was like whining and complaining. And then like now it's week 7 and week 8 and everything, and they were asking him, and he was just like, "Yo, I've never been part of a 10-win team in my life. Like I've never been
Mm-hmm.
part of a 10-win team." And they're asking him like how he's doing and how he's progressing, and he's just like, "Yo, I'm ready to get out there. I want to play. I'm ready to get out there, contribute. I want to catch the ball. I want to block. I want to score touchdowns. I want to be a part of a winning team for the first time in my life. I want to win 10 games this year."
Mm-hmm.
From week 1, week 2, week to week 8, and week 9, like this guy sounds like a completely different person. And the one thing that I loved the most was Jay. Why would Robert Salah get? Why? Why
Hey,
would
all
he
right,
get?
look. As far as I'm concerned, Jay, Robert Sala is probably third on that list because of the fact that y'all expectations were still higher than ours. We weren't expected to do shit this year.
That's that's very true. That's very true. Y'all was looking at the Jets schedule like we could be 14-3 this year. Like y'all y'all was doing the most.
Hey, well,
We were
especially after that draft, dudes were not there. The 3 freaking top 10 picks in the draft. God damn.
y'all was doing the most, Jets fans. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry to get off topic. I was very passionate about Kenny Galladay. Like I was gonna say, I saw everybody on Giants Twitter. Not everybody, because you always have people like "F you, get the hell out of here." But I saw a lot of people on Giants Twitter backing up Kenny Galladay, saying like, "You know what? I'm a fan of this guy now. Go out and like you same thing you just said. Prove us
Prove me
wrong.
wrong.
prove to us that you want to be here, that you really want to contribute, that you're going to run your routes 100%, even if you're not getting the goddamn ball, block on runs, do everything you have to do that you want, show that you want to be part of this team. Because you ain't worth the 70 whatever million we gave you, but at least show you're worth a damn. Show that you want to play. Show that you want to do something. That was what I was going to say until Jay wanted to talk about Jets news on the Giants podcast. Like, just ruined my whole train of thought. Like, I'm sorry. It's like Benji said, Salah shouldn't get coach of the year because y'all had the Jets at 14-3. And the moment we were just like, oh yeah, the Giants, we can go 9-8. You start cursing us out like we were like we were idiots. We wanted 9 wins and we got cursed out. Like,
Hell, some of it was us, our own.
so yeah,
I'm
that
gonna
too.
keep talking about this junk too. The second we get 10 wins, I'm gonna be like, what? Start screenshotting stuff from the chat.
That's true too. That's true too. Think your own people, your own people. Oh
Your
my
own
gosh.
fans.
We'll end it on this note. Oh my gosh. Hopefully we come back to you guys with a victory Monday podcast. Giants are going facing off against the Texans next week. We hopefully we can rebound after the loss to Seattle. Coming off the bye, hopefully we're gonna get healthy, rip off a W, and keep this train rolling. Um, Me and Paul will be back tomorrow or Wednesday. I don't know. It's working. I don't know. We got other things to do in life. We're gonna try to be back tomorrow with a pick'em podcast. We've been off for I think 2 weeks now. Life gets in the way, but I'm sure I'm doing terrible in the standings. I'm gonna try and get everyone right this week. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Like, comment, share, follow, subscribe to us on YouTube. Check us out. Um, until next time, guys. Go Giants.